Victrola the 6th. That's VV-VI. Serial number 225,191, prefix F. Like all 1916 6s and 4s, this is quarter sawn oak. Solid pieces. There's no veneer on there. You can see it's all solid oak. So these machines rarely have any difficulty with the wood, except sometimes it might dry out and crack or have corner damage, which this machine does not. It's actually very well preserved. The finish is dark with age. You can see in here it looks a little lighter. That's closer to the original color it would have looked in 1916 on the doors too. But age has darkened it. And you can see on top especially, which is common enough with machines of, well, it's 101 years old. 101 years old. Now the 6 uses a 2-spring machine, and this was the last year you could get one of these with 2 individual spring cans rather than 1 big spring can, which came along for 1917. It has 2 small springs in there. Basically the motor in this is a scaled down version of what you would find in the Victor the 9th or some of the 2-spring floor models that were around at the time. It has a 12-inch turntable. It has an exhibition reproducer, which has been completely rebuilt with new gaskets and isolator and all of that, so it's playing like it should. And yeah, the finish is a little, the shellac is a little thin in spots. You can see that, 101 years old, that's not too surprising. Who knows how many years it's spent in an attic somewhere. But it survived, it's in good condition. Everything's where it should be. And let's listen to it play now that I've completely cleaned and rebuilt the motor. And we have Go Emmeline by the Benson Orchestra of Chicago. It's actually a record from the 20s, but that's okay. It plays just fine in 1916. Now, the 6 was actually made 1911 to 1925. It was a fairly long run. They made well over, I believe it was 170,000 of these machines in those years, and they were constantly improving them. The first ones didn't have an isolated horn. That means the horn is separate from the motor compartment, so you don't hear motor noise. This one does. They made changes to the motor. They made changes to the speed control. Eventually, this came standard with the Victrola number 2 reproducer as time went on. They did things to the hinges. The originals had a piano hinge. This has the 2 individual hinges. Stuff like that, minor stuff. But overall, the general appearance of the machine really didn't change until about 1918 when they introduced the mahogany models. In that year, you could get both oak and mahogany. And they had a different, they redesigned the case to make the motor board a separate piece that was just, you could lift the whole thing out. This one, you take the 2 screws off, it pivots up like this to do maintenance on the motor, which makes it very easy actually. It's an easy machine to live with. You know, it's very easy to maintain, easy to keep clean. It's small enough you could put it in the closet. You can carry it around with you if you wanted to. A little awkward on that to carry it around. There's no handle, but you can. It's not so heavy you can't pick it up and move it around. And it was an extremely popular machine in its day. That's why a lot of them have survived to this time, although not all of them in as nice a condition as this one. Let's play a record, see what it sounds like. 101 years old. There you go. And that's the way it should sound when it's been properly rebuilt and adjusted. The speed is set at perfectly at 78 RPM, and the reproducer is all fixed up and greased. All too often, I will be skipping along in YouTube somewhere, and I'll hear machines that are being played right out of the basement. I mean, nothing's been done to them. There's no lubrication, nothing rebuilt. Rock hard gaskets in a reproducer and a filthy record. I know a lot of these are just sellers trying to unload a machine, and they don't know anything about it. So they're just trying to play it a little bit, show the motor works, whatever. But it's like fingernails on the blackboard. I hate hearing that. So my own machines, I always make sure that before they ever appear on my YouTube channel, you can rest assured every one of them has been gone through. That means I yank the motor out, I clean every last piece of it, pull the springs out of the cans, the governor comes completely apart, all of its little pieces get cleaned up, and everything's adjusted in the end. New springs put in, not always in the mainspring. If the mainspring is good, I'll leave it alone. 2-spring motors they usually tend to be, and this one has Victor springs in it, and they're very good shape. It will play at least 2 sides of one record, and I haven't really tried to push it further than that. It is, after all, 101 years old. You can't expect miracles. I did have to replace the felt. I had no choice in that because it was so moth-eaten. There was nothing but iron showing, really. And that dark green color is actually what was on there, on the original. You'll see lighter green and eventually orange, or like a mustard colored orange they used in the 20s on these by 1925. And, you know, I buy these pre-cut, but I'm actually buying material to cut my own from now on because I'm not really satisfied with the way the edges come out. They're a little tiny bit small. Maybe they made that way on purpose for varying sizes of a tone arm. I mean, not reproducers, varying sizes of the platters. But a little dirt getting on there already. I don't like to have to replace stuff like that. I like to leave it original, but I had no choice in this instance. It was either that or, you know, play it on the metal, which is not good for the records. And they're nice machines, these things. You know, I like these numbers. I like these 6s. They're good. That's what it looks like. You can see I also had to replace the knobs because somewhere along the line they simply disappeared. I guess they fell off and no one bothered to put them back on again. But they are available new, so I got a pair from Walt Summers and I stuck them on there. And you know, they're presentable. They're nice. They're shiny. They do look a little bit out of place. It doesn't quite match the patina of the rest of the machine, but they're close, best I can do. And I have a number of these waiting to be done yet. One by one I'm getting to them. You know, I think I have another 5 more to go that I've picked up here and there and just kind of stashed away to get to one day. Well, you know, when I have time and the weather's nice like today, I like to come out and play with them, and that's what I'm doing today. Alright, that's 1916 Victor Victrola 6, 225,191, prefix F. I think we covered pretty much everything on the machine. Let me take a little walk around it. You can see it. Boy, that glare is bad today. See what it looks like. Get the box out of the way here, get a better look inside. There you go. And that does it. For this machine, anyway.